Decision by 5 countries to cut diplomatic ties over claims it supports terrorism. Qatar on Monday slammed the decisions of 5 nations to sever ties with it, saying they were unjustified and aimed to put Doha under political guardianship. The United Arab Emirates, Yemen and Egypt announced they will be joining Bahrain and Saudi Arabia and withdrawing their diplomatic staff from Qatar, over claims that the countries supported Islamist groups, earlier on Monday. Abu Dhabi's Etihad Airways said it would suspend flights to Qatar starting on Tuesday, after the UAE, Saudi Arabia and Bahrain said they would cut all air, land and sea links with Qatar within 24 hours. The measures are unjustified and are based on false and baseless claims, the Qatari Foreign Ministry said in a statement, referring to the unprecedented steps taken by Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates and Egypt. The aim is clear, and it is to impose guardianship on the state. This by itself is a violation of Qatar's sovereignty as a state. Qatar, a gas-rich nation that will host the 2022 FIFA World Cup, added. It wasn't immediately clear how that would affect Qatar Airways, one of the region's major long-haul carriers. Abu Dhabi's state-owned Etihad Airways said it would suspend all flights to and from Doha from Tuesday morning until further notice. Etihad, which operates 4 return flights to Doha daily, said the measure will be in place until further notice. Other carriers from the 3 Gulf countries, including Dubai's Emirates, are likely to announce similar measures. The unprecedented measures against Doha include ordering Qatari citizens to leave within 14 days and banning citizens of the 3 Gulf states from traveling to Qatar. Doha Airport, along with airports in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, have become major hubs after Emirates, Etihad and Qatar Airways seized a significant chunk of transcontinental travel on routes linking Western countries with Asia and Australasia. Saudi Arabia also said Qatari troops would be pulled from the ongoing war in Yemen. Qatar is also home to the sprawling Al Udeid Air Base, which is home to the U.S. Military Central Command and some 10,000 American troops. It wasn't clear if the decision would affect American military operations. Central Command officials did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Bahrain blamed Qatar's media incitement, support for armed terrorist activities and funding linked to Iranian groups to carry out sabotage and spreading chaos in Bahrain for its decision. Other countries issued similar statements. The decision comes after Qatar alleged in late May that hackers took over the site of its state-run news agency and published what it called fake comments from its ruling emir about Iran and Israel. Its Gulf Arab neighbors responded with anger, blocking Qatari-based media, including the Doha-based satellite news network Al Jazeera. Qatar embraces multiple terrorist and sectarian groups aimed at disturbing stability in the region, including the Muslim Brotherhood, ISIS, Islamic State, and Al-Qaeda, and promotes the message and schemes of these groups through their media constantly, the Saudi state news agency SPA said. Qatar long has faced criticism from its Arab neighbors over its support of Islamists. The chief worry among them is the Muslim Brotherhood, a Sunni Islamist political group outlawed by both Saudi Arabia and the UAE as it challenges the nation's hereditary rule. Gulf countries led by Saudi Arabia fell out with Qatar over its backing of then Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi, a Brotherhood member. In March 2014, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain recalled their ambassadors from Qatar over the rift. 8 months later, they returned their ambassadors as Qatar forced some Brotherhood members to leave the country and quieted others. However, the 2014 crisis did not see a land and sea blockade as threatened now. In the time since, Qatar repeatedly and strongly denied it funds extremist groups. However, it remains a key financial patron of the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip and has been the home of exiled Hamas official Khaled Mashhal since 2012. Western officials also have accused Qatar of allowing or even encouraging funding of Sunni extremists like Al-Qaeda's branch in Syria, once known as the Nusra Front. The crisis also comes after U.S. President Donald Trump's recent visit to Saudi Arabia for a summit with Arab leaders. Since the meeting, unrest in the region has grown. At that Saudi conference, Trump met with Qatar's ruling Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. "We are friends, we've been friends now for a long time, haven't we?" Trump asked at the meeting. "Our relationship is extremely good." Christian Ulrichsen, a Gulf expert at the U.S.-based Baker Institute, said if Qatar's land borders and airspace were closed for any length of time it would wreak havoc on the timeline and delivery of the World Cup. It seems that the Saudis and Emirates feel emboldened by the alignment of their regional interests toward Iran and Islamism with the Trump administration, said Ulrichsen. They have decided to deal with Qatar's alternative approach on the assumption that they will have the Trump administration's backing. U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson told reporters in Sydney on Monday that the spat would not affect the fight against Islamist militants and that Washington has encouraged its Gulf allies to resolve their differences. Qatar has used its media and political clout to support long-repressed Islamists during the 2011 pro-democracy Arab Spring uprisings in several Arab countries. Muslim Brotherhood parties allied to Doha are now mostly on the back foot in the region, especially after a 2013 military takeover in Egypt ousted the elected Islamist president. The former army chief and now president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, along with the new government's allies in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, blacklist the Brotherhood as a terrorist organization. Egypt, the Arab world's most populous nation, said on its state news agency that Qatar's policy threatens Arab national security and sows the seeds of strife and division within Arab societies according to a deliberate plan aimed at the unity and interests of the Arab nation. Oil prices rose after the moves against Qatar, which is the biggest supplier of liquefied natural gas, LNG, and a major seller of condensate, a low-density liquid fuel and refining product.